La lucha entre marcas de celulares está más difícil que nunca. Hoy tenemos un programa muy especial, pues Motorola, parte de Grupo Lenovo, logró posicionarse en primer lugar en participación de mercado en México, con más de 24.2% durante su último año fiscal. Y, en exclusiva para Milenio, Sergio Buniac, presidente global de Motorola, habla de cómo lograr este dato en México y consolidarse también como la segunda marca con mayor participación de mercado en América Latina. Sergio Buniac tiene más de 20 años de carrera en Motorola, pero esta es su primera entrevista en televisión desde que la dirige a nivel mundial y nos cuenta cómo el celular es y seguirá siendo el objeto que rige nuestro día a día. Motorola has as we've talked about a little bit, has a record high market share in Latin America. And I want you to let us know maybe three things that Motorola did right in this last fiscal year that allowed you to get this amazing result.
Number one, Latin America has been a hub for us in as focus, and I said, all global launches, never behind in Latin America, always first to market. A lot of attention to consumers. We measure what we call net promoter score. Used to be a 3-4 months process. We included that in the smartphone. So basically, when you buy your phone on day 2, we get a response about how do you feel about the phone. Another one on day 30. This feedback is fed into the engineering team in online. So, development teams in India, China, Brazil, and North America are seeing those feedbacks and acting on that. Sometimes if there is a consumer complaint, even before I know it, we have already a fix or improvement. And we feel very excited about this. We implement this, what we call full NPS retroalimentation feedback. And also, I think, the long-term commitment we have with the region, right? We never took shortcuts. We have been present. We have been consistent. We have developed long-term partnerships. And to conclude one, I think we keep obsessed with innovation, right? So if you see what we have done recently, Ready for, what's a platform that if you think about things like 5G, will enable your smartphone to use multiple screens as you have in the house. We just launched it. So the company is looking a lot about software. We launched ThinkShield. If you think about security, leveraging the ThinkPad platform to provide a security layer to all our phones. And foldable, we were the first to launch 5D in Latin America. DSS, we have right now 8 models in Mexico, even before the full launch. So if a consumer buys a phone today, and the 5G technology is deployed, we don't need to change your phone in 6 to 8 months. I think that's very respectful for consumers.
You actually mentioned this. I know that there's a strategy of democratization of technology, of making it available, and I think this is something that the brand has gone and really worked at. Why is this important to you, and how to achieve it when we've seen the market change so much?
Look, so I think one is being ready for change, right? This market is going to change, as we said, on a daily basis, not, but very, very often. I think more important than a given innovation or a given change is the DNA, the culture, right? You bring on the people. Now, democratization is about everything, right? I mean, when we launched 5G, we first thought about very expensive phones. That was 12 months ago. And very fast, this evolved on bringing 5G to our Moto G line. That's our mid-tier line that makes the phones way more accessible. As I mentioned, bringing 5G, even before 5G is launched for customers and allowing them to be ready is also something I feel very proud about. But think, technology is going to be everything, right? I mean, as I said before, you wake up your phone, you go at night with AI, probably your device as the hub, you know things before even you, and this whole democratization that technology can bring as it evolves, it's very exciting, and it's kind of like something we have to do, right, for society. I mean, our responsibility is not only, it's also to get good numbers, but what we bring and how we deploy and how we democratize that is our obligation, right? And I really feel like that. Right?
You've been mentioning the customers, and tell us a little bit what makes the customers in Latin America and in Mexico, maybe, because you know them fairly well. What makes them a little different? What does Motorola see in these customers? Let's say, how can Motorola and these thinking before them and giving them this service can have them do in the future?
Never underestimate consumers, right? I made a speech a few weeks ago in a high school. And for my surprise, the level of questions I got were very deep, very technical, even some things that I was not even aware about. So number one, never underestimate. Right? Listen to them, be humble. We also were the first ones to provide Indian languages on the phones. And I think that's something that protects those communities and their history. It was first done in the Amazonas in Brazil, and now we are cascading to the globe. And there are many others of those that we test, we learn, but making Latin America the hub. So it's a combination of all these things that, in the end of the day, generate the result, right? I don't like to think we did this or we invest more in that. As I told you, these consumers are sophisticated. And as important as the market share of new customers is the number of customers we are able to retain, because their experience with the device is being very positive. And in Latin America, we have one of the highest among the industry, if not the highest, and definitely the highest globally. So,
you mentioned this earlier, but COVID-19 definitely put a hard stop on what we knew and changed our lives. What did you do during this past year that set you aside? Because I think that the Moto G100, the Ready for, giving these tools and being there so fast and so quickly really allowed you to make a difference with the consumer, allowing them to have something that really helped, but also as a brand, and maybe allowed you to get these results. So how were you able to act so quickly?
Yeah, so look, I think, of course, COVID is a terrible thing in the sense of, the problems it creates. But in many aspects, it shows that principles we have in life are super important, right? Resilience, right? There were days in the beginning of the pandemic that you said, oh, that's it, right? And how many times we have to re-energize in the morning and then, the humanity, the beauty of it's like people redesign, restart themselves. We did that before the pandemic because that's how we live, right? Working as a team, collaboration, response, understanding of the situation. So, in many aspects, we were unfortunate because we were hit very early, but we learned so much. I would say from 34 days in February last year, when nobody knew what COVID was, something happening. I probably slept half of those, right? You have to move factories around. You have to protect your employees. You have to set new procedures. Motorola was the first one. It was a benchmark in terms of how we set the procedures. It changed the way people do on work from home, study from home. And when we look to that, we set very early and say how we can help that. What do we need to change, right? So the way we do meetings, from the way we develop products, and we came with this Ready For idea. That's basically the idea of picking premium chipsets that were only available on very, very, very expensive phones. Actually, the Moto G100 costs half of their immediate competitor on the 800 series. So giving this power of technology for many people. And then how we can leverage that on what Ready For does, better interaction with your PC. You can use your phone in many cases as a PC or as a PC device through multiple screens. And we did many of those. But I would say it's like a combination of resilience, collaboration, being humble to understand what's going on, and like never giving up, right? I think that's what makes us so strong in the broader perspective. And I think we did that well, and I'm very proud of what we achieved as a team, right? I was just part of it.
I know you have 20 years in Motorola. You even lived in Mexico, so you know Mexico fairly well. Somebody told me your son was born here, so there's a little bit of your heart maybe that we have in this country. But this also shows that your commitment to the brand, that this long-term view and long-term team has worked for Motorola to put you where the brand is right now. So to end the interview, I would love if you can tell us, in between this relationship between Mexico, between what you know about Mexico and what Motorola stands for now, what are the three things that we will achieve or experience in the future in Mexico with Motorola?
Look, I think number one is, consistency, right? We are in Mexico to stay. The principles will not change. And we want to get closer and closer from consumers. I think we'll bring exciting technologies, and more important than bringing innovation, we really, in our heart, to democratize that innovation. And I think that's super important, especially in regions like Latin America, fast-growing regions, emerging markets, that have a lot of potential and very sophisticated consumers, right? And not less important, respect for the culture. We underestimate, you mentioned one kid. I have 4 kids. I have Brazilian, American, Mexican, Brazilian, boys, girls. And more than ever, I think cultures are difficult. I had a lot of time to understand the Mexico culture. But once you learn those cultures and you really understand what they are about, it makes you as a company, as a person, much stronger. And I think Mexico has a very unique, very strong culture. And we want to keep, playing around that, protect that, and respect that more than anything else. I think this is really important that a brand do for each given market. And I think it's no different in Mexico.
Thank you, Sergio. I have really appreciated these few minutes with you, and I really think that the audience is also going to be thankful that understanding a little bit more what Motorola is and what they can do in their lives. So I really appreciate it.